So, how do you gaze? Well, first you learn how to meditate, you know. You're training all along how to gaze as you're training your mind, but you raise your gaze to the horizon. And this just kind of opens up some kind of aperture. It's like your eyeballs are opened up or something. This is shamatha, this is vipassana, this is shamatha, this is vipassana. You always alternate between shamatha and vipassana. Gazing is vipassana. You always go back from gazing down to shamatha and return to peace. It's a little hairy out here. You gotta go hairy to get anywhere in this path. But you gotta have a foundation of peace. So you just alternate between your foundation of peace and using that peace to go hairy. But then the point is not exactly hairy. The point is not exactly peace. The point is a hairy peace. Union between stepping out of your ego and it's all peace, but stepping out of your ego don't feel like peace, but through knowledge of stage one. Stage one's real in a way. You don't ever give up stage one. It's just a piece of the puzzle. Stage two is a piece of the puzzle. You don't cling to it. It's there all the time. You can be blissful as you can go from bliss to bliss to bliss to bliss. You don't even have all that much to do with stage two, but it's stage four. It's because your knowledge is stage four that you go from bliss to bliss to bliss, and you can use stage two as you please. This is your pleasure. Stage three is never over. You're always gonna get a curveball that'll challenge you like you can't believe. That's part of the deal, you know. You signed up for that. And that's how you grow, you know. There's no other way to fully establish yourself in stage four besides going through stage three about 100 million times, you know. Nothing to be afraid of. But fear will arise. Something will scare the shit out of you. Challenge you. Shake you out of your ego. You got subtler and subtler little egos going on, and something's got to shake you out of it. That's how they do it, you know. That's the nature of this reality. You get shaken out of your ego, and your guru does it. Sometimes in a seemingly brutal way. It seems like Marpa was really brutal to Milarepa, but Milarepa had some bad karma. You can see he wasn't the gentle pat on the back, but he's gonna work with Milarepa. Doesn't work with anybody at some point. At some point you gotta kick them in the ass. Just the way it is, you know. They're looking to suck on mama's tit, and you gotta be the harsh daddy and say, time to grow up, son. Our young lady. Beautiful young lady. So gazing really is you just sort of unhook. You no longer stare. Used to, you just were staring from one thing to the next. You never stare anymore. You never stare. You just unhook. All you do is 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 just diffuse your gaze. Get the big picture, but you're not hooking onto that neither. You don't hook onto anything. There's just a little shift in your way you use your eyes. You don't grasp after anything. You just unhook all the time. Unhook, 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 unhook. It's just a art form you teach yourself. And you do it by practicing gazing all the time. As much as you can. It'll freak you out a little bit. And you'll think, uh-oh, I'm a little disturbed. I've lost my ground. It'll cause your ground to disappear. You're building a lot of ground by all that grasping. And all of a sudden you're not building ground anymore. No ground. Gazing at the sky, especially the greatest thing that there is for the Tibetans or whomever is to be sitting on the side of a mountain, looking out into a huge sky with not a single cloud and not a single particle of dust. Just a huge blue sky. Just gaze into that. But that, next big thing is any kind of sky, anything. The next best thing is at night, looking up at the sky, all the stars, the moon. You unhook and you look at the moon and there's nothing better in a way. And then those Zen people, they would sit on a little mountain they built. They built about 6-foot mountain. They'd look at the big moon and reflected in a pool. And I guess that was the best there was for them. They didn't need to go for them mountains. They just built a little pool of water, built their little mountain seat, waited for the moon and looked at it in the water. That was it. Gazed at the moon reflected in the water. You can gaze at anything, you can gaze at water. Go gaze at water. Go find any water and gaze at it. Nature, you can gaze at nature really well. Just gaze at nature. The other day we had an eclipse and there was like all this shit on the ground, Wow. That would have been good to gaze at. Anything you can gaze at, anything in nature. They do a lot of dark retreats. You can gaze in the dark, man. And then they do this stuff where I guess used to, they'd watch the sun rise. That's the kind of ultimate gazing is nowadays, in modern days, they use these LED lights, certain lights. The darkness everywhere, these lights hit your eyeballs. I'm not going to go into the whole thing that happens. There's this whole thing that happens. It's called Vajra chains. You can look it up. Vajra chains. When you get in line, it's because your gaze is so damn good, and then reality just starts coming at you in the form of these little deities. Everything turns into the deity. Everything turns into the wisdom, and it's love. That's what's coming at you is love. It's just love. Everything turns into love and little Vajra chains, and you meditate on them, and they change and change, and they just become Buddhas. Everywhere's Buddhas. Everywhere's Buddhas. Everywhere's love. Everywhere's wisdom. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. I know very little about that, but I've read a little bit about it. I don't know. Maybe that's all that needs to be said. Maybe I said way too much. It's just the fast path to, but you just want to gaze with your good friend. I think there's nothing more fun. You just want to do water monkeys with your girlfriend or boyfriend. You just want to do water monkeys with your girlfriend or boyfriend. You just want to sit there and gaze. You just want to be in Yab Yum. You just want to have your girlfriend or boyfriend sit in your lap. You gaze. you want to learn the higher techniques of lovemaking. I don't know if this is a good time to explain all that, but really the whole secret to lovemaking goes in 4 parts. The eyes is most important. Always never close the eyes. Always make the eyes number 1. Always make the gazing number 1. Number 2 is kissing. Kissing is a great art. The breasts are a great art. There's a 4th contact, but that's almost number 4. I mean, it's almost number 4. It might be number 3, but it's not number 1, and it's not even number 2. Number 1 is gazing, number 2 is kissing. The breasts are first before the 4th. And the 4th is like an art of deception in a way. It's just like all tender, and nothing's hard, nothing's fast, nothing's hard, nothing's fast. Maybe some people need the pretense of hard and fast, so you can have the pretense of hard and fast, but really, nothing's hard, nothing's fast. And there's something called the cul-de-sac, and the woman has to learn what the cul-de-sac is and has to open the cul-de-sac. There's a book called ESO by Barbara Kiesling. She explained to you what the cul-de-sac is. She explains you how to open the cul-de-sac. You have to do kind of maybe, some women just know how to do it, some don't. If you don't, it's not hard to learn, but you have to do the Kegel exercises and other exercises, and you open the cul-de-sac. Then it's just like a huge ring of bliss down there. And the woman becomes very powerful at that point. Barbara Kiesling says a woman should control her sexuality, but if you don't know how to do that, it's hard for you to control your sexuality. Maybe you could, you just can't gain the confidence. You just don't have this secret world-conquering weapon down there, or maybe weapon's not quite yet, but access to the universe of bliss and emptiness, which should be your divine right. So the woman comes 4 times, and then she confers bliss and emptiness on both parties. The universe conducts an abhisheka, or an initiation, through the woman. It's only through the woman. And both parties are introduced to bliss and emptiness, which they can take and extend or repeat in 24 hours and 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever. So you just live in bliss and emptiness. You just go from bliss to bliss to bliss to bliss to bliss. But it's the gazing is number 1. Kissing's pretty damn good. The breasts are a wonderland of fun and happiness. And just learn how to make it last all night. Number 4, don't horse number 4. Don't horse the genitals. There's no reason to horse the genitals. The genitals are not for horsing, they're for endless delight and play. And there's a cul-de-sac down there which will go all week, if you don't horse it. You stick your finger in that cul-de-sac and there's skyrockets forever. You gotta make her come 4 times, but it's easy. If she got a cul-de-sac and you got a finger, you can make her come all week. Otherwise, it might not be that easy. I'm sure I've said too much.